My name is Ms. Melinya Thanai Methawat, a lecturer in Human Resource Management, Faculty of Management Sciences, Prince of Songkla University. It is my profound privilege to preside as the Master of Ceremony for this significant occasion. I am deeply honored to welcome each of you to today's program. On behalf of Prince of Songkla University and the organizing committee, it's my distinct pleasure to extend a warm and respectful welcome to all of you to Nobel Laureates special talk. Your presence here greatly enhances the importance and meaning of these gatherings. So before we proceed to the next sessions, may I respectfully invite all of you to enjoy a short video presentation of Prince of Songkla University, a reflection of our heritage, visions, and continued commitment to academic excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen.
Prince of Songkla University, leading national and international educational institutions. PSU has been established as the first university in the South more than half a century ago. With a determination to drive the organization towards the development of knowledge, personnel, innovations, and technology to create benefits for people's lives in society, with realization and commitment to carry on the aspirations of His Royal Highness Prince Mahidol Adulyadej. Let consideration of personal gain take second place to the overall benefit of mankind. Strength of multiculturalism and the ability to adapt to globalization. Prince of Songkla University realizes its value as a higher education institution located in the southern region of the country. Strong in terms of topography, natural resources, and people of diverse religions and cultures. Our priorities are to solve problems and improve the quality of life for sustainability through academic knowledge and research. To promote social innovation development, solve problems, and develop surroundings of each campus specific to each campus, to support novel inventions and development under a unique combination of lifestyle, arts, and culture. To maintain community identity, history, and to promote development at the international level. The 5 campuses of Prince of Songkla University aim to develop quality human resources for the country by ensuring that all groups of learners obtain value and benefit through both degree and non-degree courses, develop knowledge and abilities, and enhance their quality of life. Prince of Songkla University provides teaching and learning that is ready to create and develop knowledge to support future careers through a variety of formats to meet the needs of learners without limitations, focusing on being able to adapt and solve problems in various situations, linking knowledge and practice both at a community and international level. Through the integrity of the teaching environment of both staff and learning resources, Prince of Songkla University focuses on skill development and increasing opportunities for work in the new century through reskill upskill under the concept of enhance skills, create people, increase opportunities, and create jobs. In addition to professional knowledge and skills, learners are also instilled with virtue, ethics, volunteer spirit, altruism, a desire to benefit someone other than oneself, living in society harmoniously with others, reflecting the values of Prince of Songkla University. The university remains committed and dedicated to supporting research, creating new knowledge, and serving as an academic database leading to innovation, technology, and inventions for the benefit of mankind, alongside building links to international social networks according to the ever-changing world through integrating all three branches of science, namely health science, science and technology, and humanities and social science. Relying on the resource base of the southern region, which is biodiversity, the abundance of resources, PSU makes important contributions leading to a variety of innovations to meet the needs of being a world-leading research university, focusing on research to create a body of knowledge, academic progress, and increase competitiveness at the international level. Other important aspects are the integration of knowledge from research and development and collaboration with research networks through academic services that
Excellencies, distinguished guests, honored participants, over the past decades, we have had the exceptional honors of hosting 6 Nobel Laureates, a testament to the university's commitment to advancing global knowledge and academic excellence. And today, we are truly privileged to welcome Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides, Distinguished Laureate of the Nobel Prize in Economics. Please give big round of applause to the professor. Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly invite all attendees to rise for a 1-minute silence to pay tributes to Her Majesty the Queen's Mother. Please stand up. Thank you for your kind cooperation. And we would like to invite all participants to join us a group photo. Can you please still stand up? I'm sorry. Yeah, and can you squeeze in, please? Participants, please squeeze in. So everyone, so we make sure that everyone are in the frame. โอเคค่ะ squeeze in please squeeze in เดี๋ยวรบกวนถ่ายอีกกล้องนึงให้ด้วยนะคะแถวหน้าต้องขยับไปตรงไหนนะคะแถวขยับมาทางนี้ Oh, front row, please. All the distinguished guests, can you move to my left-hand side, please? Right here. Can you move to my left-hand side, please? Thank you. Okay. Okay, everybody say cheese. One more shot, please. Okay, thank you. So please be seated. Okay, thank you everybody for the nice group photo. I believe this group photo would be, one of the history of Prince of Songkla University. And to move to the next step, to commence the formal proceeding, it is my honors to respectfully invite Assistant Professor Dr. Takeung Wongsirishodh, Vice President for Academic and International Affairs, Prince of Songkla University, to deliver the introductory remarks. Please welcome.
Professor Dr. Sanit Aksornkeo, PSU Council Chairman, President Dr. Niwat Pradap, Honorable Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 7th Nobel Laureate special talk here at PSU. In collaboration with the International Peace Foundation, PSU has welcomed 6 Nobel Laureates on campus. Today, we are once again have a privilege to host a distinguished speakers, Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides, Nobel Prize winner for economics. At this event, in addition to students for PSU's Hatyai campus, we also welcome students from Trang, Pattani campuses, high school students, economists from Bank of Thailand, and members of the public interested in economics to join this special talk. I believe that this event not only serves a significant milestone in advancing the local and regional community, but also enhances an institution's global visibility, research networks, and reputation. I'm confident that all participants will be inspired by today's talk, given by the distinguished Nobel Laureate. I'm now honored to invite the esteemed Professor Dr. Sanit Aksornkeo, PSU Council Chairman, to kindly deliver the opening remarks. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณครับ
ครับก็สวัสดีทุกท่านเลยนะครับ Associate Professor Dr. Niwat Pradap, the President of the Prince of Songkla University, Honorable Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides, Dr. Pichet, Member of Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased and greatly honored to join the Nobel Laureate special talk today. We are fortunately to have this unique opportunity to learn about the topic employment and skill in the age of AI, or artificial intelligence, by the esteemed Nobel Laureate Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides. After witnessing the rapid revolution of artificial intelligence it should be abundantly clear to all of us that the implications of AI on the global and national economy cannot be overstated. We need to be proactive in harvesting in benefit, yet remain vigilant about avoiding its pitfalls. When it comes to the subject of artificial intelligence, what we see is no longer a futuristic concept, but the everyday realities. A leading university like ours has the responsibility not only to harness this technology, but to prepare our graduates for a world where AI skills are in high demand across all the industries, and to give our researchers the cutting-edge knowledge they need to innovate and fulfill our mandate to benefit mankind. In other words, our universities has been playing an integral role in shaping and implementing policy at the regional and national level. To stay economically relevant today, we must possess the latest information about AI and its implications on employment, productivity, and income distribution. I had the pleasure of learning about the recent works of the esteemed Nobel Laureate, and I am certain that special lectures we are about to hear will change the way we view AI today. Just as importantly, this event will also serve as a milestone in PSU history, further concerning our university global reputation as a technological innovators with a unique focus on community and the world at large. With this in mind, I declare the Nobel Laureate special talk even now officially open. Thank you for your attention. ขอบคุณมากครับ
Thank you, Professor Dr. Snit and Assistant Professor Dr. Thakeung. Now we proceed to the highlight of today's program. It is my great honor to invite Professor Pissarides to deliver a keynote address on employment and skills in the age of AI. Please welcome. Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides is distinguished economist at the London School of Economics and 2010 Nobel Laureates in Economics, recognized for his groundbreaking contribution to labor market economic growth and structural change. Over the past decade, his work has focused on employment in the era of automation and artificial intelligence. He has advised major global institutions, including World Bank, the European Commission, and the OECD. So his influential book, Equilibrium and Employment, continue to shape modern economic thoughts as well. So we are ready now. Professor, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable President of Prince of Songkla University, honorable guests, dear students. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you very much for your warm welcome so far. You students only know the last 10-15 minutes, but they've been very welcoming. You are teachers and professors since this morning, for which I'm very grateful. My topic, you've seen it before, is about employment and skills in the age of AI. This is a question that every student I meet has in mind and wants to find out, what skills should I learn? Am I going to have a job? No one has answers to all those questions, but some of us have, I hope, more informed answers than the rest of you, so you can ask me anything you want when I finish the lecture. I'm going to cover these topics, and hopefully we will have time to do it. First of all, I'm going to talk about technological change in the labor market. It's a topic that's occupied me since my PhD. In fact, soon after I started working on the impact of technology on labor markets, and there is still a lot to learn. And then I'm going to adapt what I've learned over the last several years into a framework to studying AI and jobs, because the current frontier technology is AI. And AI Frictions topic number 3 is about technology again. And then the important topics that all that discussion will lead to, how do we prepare for the world of AI? What skills should we have? What else can we do? And then I'm sure we're going to have time, because topic number 5 occupies not more than 5 minutes. I'll show you what employees feel about AI and studies that we did in Britain and others did in America. So let's begin with technological change. Now, when I started getting interested in AI, in technology in the labor market, it was when I realized that labor economists never looked at technology very much. They were looking at trade unions, at minimum wages, at education, human capital, but not technology. They thought technology was for either sciences or macroeconomists, those concerned with economic growth. I was very interested in economic growth, but I was much more interested in how economic growth affects those engaged in the labor market, where the vast majority are workers. So I thought, obviously, the two should come together, because there are many, many changes in labor markets that are related to technology. More recently, more people started working on it, on that topic. We even have a title for it. It's called disruption. They're disruptive technologies. Disruptive technologies are the ones that, once they're introduced into the labor market, by companies always, the standards of work in the labor market we had before get disrupted, and something new has to come about. Now, what's surprising, to me at least, was that despite the fact that we've given the term disruption and we've given the term adjustment to the new technologies, there isn't that much discussion about the adjustment problems that we're facing. And that's what I'm really concerned about. In fact, you can summarize all my recent work on AI, and when I say recent, it's for the last 12 years at least that I've had generous research grants from research foundations in Europe to study. You could summarize this the transition of the economy from one state to the other. I'm going to say some more things about that, because I'm sure there are many economics graduates and mathematics graduates amongst you that will be able to follow. And hopefully some of you will be stimulated to do research in that as well. In other terminologies, this could be called the structural change of the economy. People have called it the structural transformation of the economy. It's definitely about the structure of the economy and how it changes when new technology comes along. So it's a macro topic, but it cannot be studied without good microeconomics. So the division between micro and macro in economics is not a good division when it comes to that. You should be doing both. Now, there is a lot of uncertainty about where the transitions are going, and I summarize some things of what the real experts say about that, just to show you what diverse views people have. You may have heard of Geoff Hinton. He won the Nobel Prize in physics in 2024, but he really won it for his work in AI. He's known as the godfather of AI. He's a British scientist who emigrated to Canada in his youth, after studying in Britain, I mean. And he's very, very negative about the way that AI is moving. He's saying that sooner or later, AI will take over the world, we will not have to control it, and we better appreciate once and for all that there is going to be someone in the economy that is wiser than us. Homo sapiens will no longer be the only sapiens in the economy. In fact, he even went as far as saying he's very glad he's 77, 78 now, because by that time that happens, he will not be around, so he doesn't care. Anyway, Stuart Russell, an AI professor at Berkeley, has very similar views. He said that we're running the risk of being wiped out. And when a BBC interviewer asked him once, I saw an interview once on the BBC with him, and she said to him, well, how are we going to be wiped out? You know, we can't do anything we want on Earth. He said, well, you know, that's what the dodo in Mauritius thought until people arrived and wiped them out in 2 years. And something similar might happen to us. You know, that's how the Neanderthals, you may not know because of where you live, but at one time, maybe 100,000 years ago, 200,000 years ago, Europe was inhabited by another species, not by Homo sapiens. It was inhabited by the Neanderthals. The Homo sapiens came from the Middle East up to Europe, and within, I guess, more than 1,000 to 3,000 years, they wiped them out. Some of us in Europe have a Neanderthal DNA, by the way. I haven't, but I know people who have somewhat Neanderthal DNA. I was born in a little island, and Neanderthals were not very good at crossing the sea. Now, there is an alternative view. Demis Hassabis, who, by the way, he comes from the same little island as I do, is the CEO of Google DeepMind. No, I should say, given where we are, I should say his father comes from the same island as I do. His mother comes from the same place that you do. She's a Chinese Singaporean. He claimed, another Nobel Prize winner, he claimed that within 10 years, AI will provide cures for all known diseases. Very pessimistic. He got his Nobel Prize for his work on proteins, so he has a right to be pessimistic, but he and Sam Altman of OpenAI believe in 5 to 10 years AGI, G for general, will come and will be able to do most jobs that humans can do, only better. What's the difference between AI that we have now and AGI? AI that we have now can do only one thing at a time, so it's not very clever. We can do many things. You know, if I suddenly feel like a coffee, I can go make one, come back, drink it. AI cannot do that. So I'm cleverer than AI. But the AGI will be able to do that, right? That's going to be a problem. We need to control AGI when it comes along for the benefit of humankind. I see that your university does things. You call it mankind, by the way, humankind. I think you call it mankind, don't you? You should switch to humankind, come on. There are women in this earth too. And but then there are people, you know, like Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft. He claimed that Microsoft is developing AI as a tool to help workers, and recently I met the Microsoft AI team in London, and that's what they are doing indeed. You know, you could develop AI to help people. Now, the economists have disagree as well, although I think the majority of economists get around to the views that I'm expressing here. But there are economists like Rubini of New York University, Tom Friedman of New York Times. They're very negative about it. They say that all jobs will disappear. Usually the people who say that jobs will disappear are the top scientists, like Jensen Huang made such claims, and Elon Musk. It's because they don't know economics. That's why they're making these claims. They're just wrong. But there are economists who claim this. I also think the economists are wrong, actually, when they say that there will be no jobs left. I can explain later. But most economists, like Eric Brynjolfsson of Stanford, Daron Acemoglu and Simon Johnson, another 2 Nobel Prize winners of MIT, that's what I believe too, for its worth. They claim that we control AI, and the way we could develop it is to enhance workers' abilities, although they do express doubts whether the big tech companies are developing AI in a way that is beneficial to a society at large, as opposed to they themselves, their shareholders. The division between AI replacing human labor and AI augmenting human labor has been made and is popular. I don't believe it's a useful division, by the way. I'll explain in a minute. It's much easier. It makes people feel more comfortable to think of some types of AI replacing labor and some augmenting human labor. It's kind of easy to visualize. But I don't think the economy is an easy thing. And I don't think the distinction is good. I'm going to tell you in a minute why. So now if you look at what does new technology do to jobs, the replacement versus augmentation is the idea that if I work in agriculture and I'm digging the fields, and then a machine comes along that I can direct it from a computer to dig, like diggers with AI properties, then that's replacing the labor that is digging. On the other hand, if I write in an office, if I sit in an office and write reports by hand, and then ChatGPT comes along and I tell them, can you write a report on this thing, and write it, it's augmenting my labor, although it's taking up some of my time, but it is helping me. I just sit back, I enjoy a nice cup of tea or cup of coffee, and the machine does on its own. That's where the AI technology is augmenting. The reason I say the distinction is not useful is that it's obvious to understand, like the agricultural example I've given you, how AI causes the loss of jobs. If you had lots of people digging the earth and now machines are digging it, they've lost their jobs. It's as simple as anything. But augmentation also makes you lose jobs in the same way, because if, say, you have a company and it has 10 statisticians compiling and storing data, and then machines come along and they work twice as fast. Usually they work more than twice as fast, but let's have twice as fast. Then you only need 5 statisticians to do the job, because the machines will do the job twice. They will help the statisticians to do the job twice as fast. And therefore you lost 5 workers. Well, whether you lost the 5 workers because the machines worked faster, helping those that are supposedly helping those who are there, or whether you do it because the machines now are doing exactly what the workers are doing before, is neither here nor there. The important thing for the macroeconomists, for the economists, is that the jobs have been lost. Now, you might say, if both of them loses jobs, then why am I so optimistic about AI? Because AI creates jobs elsewhere. And that's the restructuring. You have certain jobs, and currently there are estimates that not many people believe, but I do believe they are more or less right, that AI could affect up to half the jobs in the economy, but then it will create as many jobs if we want it to create. If we don't want it to create because we like free time, fair enough, but we are asking it. It's not that it's forcing us out of work. Okay, and that's what the transition is. How do we transition from a place where half the workforce has to learn new things to do, and where are those things going to be, and what are they going to be? So this is the idea. That's what that one is stating. I'm not saying it alone. Again, the way I'm looking at it is that if you have an economy operating at a certain level, and then you are introducing the technology, then some things in that economy will go wrong because the technology will do it better. That's the disruption. But what I'm saying is that, and that unbalances the economy, whereas your economy before was a balanced, nicely operating economy. You give it a shock in some fraction of it, which might be up to 50%, and you unbalance it. Then the structural change and the transitions are the things that will restore balance, and that balance will look different from what it did before. If you want examples from real economies that have been most unbalanced and they're rebalancing, just look at China, not beyond that. I mean, China used to be, a few years ago, used to be one of the poorest agricultural countries in the world. Now it's one of the richest AI-generating and other technology-generated countries in the world. How did they do the transition? That I will give you that next time you invite me here. not this time. It's too big a topic. It's too big a country, too big a topic. But I do go there a lot. I've seen it firsthand. Okay, now a little bit for the economists to shock you out of your balance that you had. You see, people tease economists that, why do you need an economist? You can get a parrot saying supply and demand, and that's all. If you ask an economist something, he'll tell you about supply and demand. I'm afraid if you want to study the transitions generated by technology, supply and demand will get you nowhere. Don't ever say supply and demand will explain the transitions that are taking place, because it cannot. So if you want to be very charitable to supply and demand, and since it's served economics for so many years so well, we have to be kind. It's like being kind to your grandmother in a way. You don't tell your grandmother you have no use anymore. You don't even know how to cook. If you want to be kind to supply and demand, then you can say that what it explains is that if there is a supply and demand balance at one point, and then there is a shock like the one I described, you can draw supply and demand curves and show where the economy is going to go next, and balance again, and stabilize. So if you want to study 2 points further apart from each other, the supply and demand will do it for you. But the second point might be 30 years from now, might be 40 years from now. And exactly where it's going to be depends on how we get there. Now, if you're saying, I don't care of the next 30 or 40 years, what I care, is now 2025 or whatever, what I care is what will happen in 2050, then, okay, do supply and demand analysis. But like Jeff Hinton, I care about what's going to happen in the next 10 years or so. And if you want to study that, you have to think in different ways. And the best way to think about it, of course, is one called the theory of frictions. You didn't mention the theory of frictions in the introductions to see how I got there, but anyway. Think of jobs. Supply and demand, actually, those of you who study economics will know that the term job doesn't come into supply and demand. What comes into supply and demand is hours of work. It's how many hours have supplied and how many hours are demanded. I don't really care about hours of work, to tell you the truth. What I care is about jobs. How many jobs are generated in the economy? How many jobs are we creating? How many jobs are we closing down? What we care about, when someone asks you about work, your work, they don't ask you, how many hours of work do you do? What do you do in your hours of work? They tell you, what do you do in your job? A job is a unit, and that's what I want to study, all right? And when you can study supply and demand of jobs, that's fair enough, but not the traditional supply and demand of labor economics. Now, the supply of jobs, it's better to use the term job creation, so ask how are jobs created, and then the other side, you can't even call it demand, actually. You can say it's job destruction. So you can think of, to study these transitions I'm talking about with AI, you should study what jobs have been created, what do those jobs need, and what jobs have been destroyed. And if you're in a job that is about to be destroyed, what do you do so you don't become unemployed and you get another job? Okay, that's how I want you to think about. So when you ask me at the end with questions, don't say to me, don't ask me about your hours of work. Ask me, what job am I going to do? And am I safe in that job? All right? Oops, sorry, I pressed the wrong thing. I hope it comes back. Yeah. Okay. Now, at the economy as a whole, if we want to study the dynamics of the economy as a whole, just see how many jobs are being created on aggregate, how many have been destroyed on aggregate, and that gives you a dynamic. If more jobs are destroyed than being created, employment goes down and people become unemployed. If more jobs are being created than being destroyed, the economy, employment grows and the economy goes up. If a job becomes more productive, there is economic growth without changing the inputs. That's the best thing we can have, of course. Then you want to know how fast are matches happening between firms and workers that make the jobs productive. Now, what does AI do? All the discussion about AI, how discussion about the AI started, and influential works in that were by Carl Frey and Michael Osborne, and that was followed up by the OECD, has an influential paper, the McKinsey Global Institute did some influential work. All that was about how many tasks that a job requires, and how many of those tasks can either robots or AI do, and therefore, if the technologies can do more than half the tasks, say, then the company will close down the job and employ machines to do it. Best example of that, which is valid, is robots in manufacturing. When Henry Ford introduced not supply chain. We've been talking too much about supply chain. That's what's come to my mind. The assembly line. It was there was a belt moving in front of workers, and each worker was doing just one thing. The belt was moving ahead. I do one thing. That worker does another, and at the end, the final product comes along. And that made him a multimillionaire and changed the world, in fact, by introducing the car, especially Model T, and then all the others that followed. Now you invent robots. The robot can stand alone in that assembly line. Robots that can do it. So all those workers standing in the assembly line have gone. That happened. And just look at manufacturing. When the United States manufacturing was at its peak because of the assembly line, that was maybe 1950s. It was growing, 1960s a little bit. 40% of American employment was in manufacturing. Today, you won't believe how, today American manufacturing is producing more than before, but you won't believe what percentage of the workforce is employed in American manufacturing? 8%. It went down from 40 to 8. British manufacturing was exactly the same. Britain was the first industrial power. Manufacturing went up to 40%. It's now 8% as well. The more successful manufacturing companies, the ones that succeeded to export, therefore their market is much bigger, the whole world. They employ a lot more robots than Britain and the United States, are Japan, South Korea, and Germany. Manufacturing employment is still about 15, 16%, but their robots are more than their workers. They just do everything, and they export. And very soon, China will be there. It's losing manufacturing employment now very rapidly. They're installing their robots only now, about as much as the rest of the world put together. And very soon will be a major automated manufacturing with employment should go down to about 20%, 15% within the next 5 years. But they have other problems there that they're not creating jobs elsewhere very easily, which is another topic I will talk to about next time. Now, is that what's happening now with AI? The answer is no, it's not what's happening now. What's happening now is that companies are introducing AI in small steps. And when you introduce an AI, then a worker's job changes. So that's another transitions on the job. When the job of the worker changes, then the worker will have a different role in the company. And therefore, what the challenge of bring in AI now, it's not that jobs will be lost, it's that there will be a role adjustment within the company, and after that role adjustment, the company might become more productive, so it will either grow and take over the sector eventually, the way that Amazon, for example, has taken over the retail sector, or Microsoft has taken over the word processing sector. But employment will rise, employment might even rise. The important thing there is not that you're kicking workers out of a job and looking and making them unemployed and looking where else they can go, but it's more how they are changing the structure of companies, and that's the role of management. So a company with good management will succeed. Again, if you want to compare companies that have good management and so how they could change worker roles and progress, and those who didn't, compare NVIDIA, which did exactly the right thing given what was needed at the time, and the previous Intel chip company, where they made some really wrong decisions and went down. I mean, the key wrong decision was when Apple was introducing the smartphone, asked them to prepare a chip that will operate the smartphone, and they thought there was no future in the smartphone. I mean, you know, it's one of those things that will remain in history when it becomes known that no, we're not going to support the development of the smartphone. Well, thank you very much. Look at you now. And that's the challenge really with introducing the AI. It's just doing the right thing. Now, if we're going to get if we're going to do well in this adjustment, then obviously the best thing to do is to jump from one equilibrium balance that we are now to another one, and happily work with the new technologies. It's what supply and demand tells you, but it's not what happens in the economy. You may not have come across it, but you know when the first conference of academics was about AI and what it can do to jobs, it was in 1958. I mean, 1958 is, what is it 67 years ago? You know, people say AI technologies are spreading so fast, unlike previous technologies. In fact, the steam engine took about 60 to 70 years to be incorporated into manufacturing. From James Watt working about 1780, and by 1850, factories had steam engines. Same goes with AI. Don't think that it's faster now than before. It's just that we have short memories. Now, these are the transitions that I'm telling you are so slow. Why are there transitions? And the way I model it is that the reason is that there are frictions in an economy. A friction is a barrier to the smooth and quick adjustment of the labor market to new shocks. There are many of those frictions, but I summarize them into three. I'm going to show you what they are. Without frictions, demand analysis will give you the right answers, but the answers will not explain where we're going and how fast we're going. And I should say, actually, it's not only to technology that there are frictions in labor markets. There are many, many good examples that might astonish you. If you think of Europe, in 1947, 48, Europe was divided into two camps, the Soviet Union and the sort of NATO, American-dominated one, you know, what you might call Western economies, and Eastern. You may not know the history, although you should know the history of the First World War, and subsequently there was something called the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Austria and Hungary were together, and they had a big empire in the center of Europe. It was split up. It lost the war in the first time. It lost even more in the second time. It was split up, and all that remained was a small country called Austria and another small country called Hungary. Very, very similar. They came out of the same historical environment. For some reason, the Soviets said they wanted Hungary, but they didn't care about Austria. So Austria went into the capitalist camp. Hungary went into the Soviet camp until 1990, when the Soviet Union collapsed. And Hungary said, they also want to join the European Union. And that's it. They started the adjustment in 1990. Now, how many years from 1945 to 1990, 1950? About 45 years of Soviet rule. They started an adjustment in 1990. Eventually, Hungary should be like Austria. They belong to the European Union, they're the same size, they know access to the sea in the middle of Europe, bordering each other. There's no reason why they should be any different. Where are they now? Well, Hungary is still about 70% of Austria. It's been adjusting. In 1990, it was closer to about 40% of where Austria is today. It's been adjusting for 35 years, and all it got to is 70%. It's a long way to go before you become 100%. Why didn't they just jump from one equilibrium of 40% to 100%? That's where they want to go. That's where they are going. Because there are all these barriers to adjustment that we tend to ignore. And these barriers, I summarize them into three. The first one is information. What shocks are we experiencing and how are we adapting to them? That's what's very slow in a real labor market. You want to know where you're going. Uncertainty is affecting what investments you do. It's the location. Where are the jobs being created? That's not too serious because you know where they are, you see them. But you have to migrate, and if you have a house, if you have a family, it's not easy. If you say different language, it's not easy to pack and go. And the final one, which is potentially the most serious of all, is what skills do I need to do the new jobs, and do I have them? Okay, what about AI and frictions? If you want to understand the slow movement, and especially if you want to see if there is any policy that could accelerate the adjustment with AI, then look at this individually. How serious are the information? Information actually is more serious than you think, and the reason I summarize those statements by both scientists and economists at the beginning is to see how the experts disagree. Therefore, you can imagine how workers will not know what to do. We did some field research in the United Kingdom, and also, when you hear people talk about AI, workers are very worried about the impact of AI on their jobs. Employers sound very excited, and they want to learn more how to make use of AI. Only last week, before coming here, I went to a restaurant near the LSE. LSE stands for London School of Economics, by the way, my university. And the waiter, the assistant who was helping me, serving me food, we started chatting. She asked me, what do I do, what do I teach, and all that. I said, I'm lucky enough not to have to teach, but I'm doing research on the impact of AI. And she immediately said, oh no, people are telling us I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to lose my job. What am I going to do? She was a young woman, early 30s, and very well spoken and everything. And I said to her, don't worry, you're not going to lose your job. But why? How do you know? I said, because when you do surveys and you ask people about jobs, they say that they don't want robots to help them. There is no AI that can do the job that you are doing here. Being hospitable, you go to a restaurant, as an individual, you go to a restaurant after work to enjoy yourself, to relax. You don't want to see a robot coming and not even talking to you. You want to see a real person, be nice, like you, I said to her. Oh, she was so excited I made her day. That's by the time I left. Then they're worried. Employers, on the other hand, are happy. They're saying, oh, I'm going to make more money and all that. So it's obviously a problem. Now, more things that we found out. When workers were worried about their job, we asked them, like you're in a job now, what do you want to see the employer do, your employer do, to make you happier? And of course, most people, when you ask them that, especially when they don't have a job, they think that the first answer is pay me more. In fact, that's not the case. Pay me more comes fourth or fifth, usually, in these surveys. The first one is that I want to have better communication with my managers and my subordinates. I want to know what they think, what they do. The second they ask is that I want more transparency about the company policy. I want to tell them, what is this company thinking? Are they thinking of staying where they are, moving, employing more people, introducing machinery? I want to have better social relations with my colleagues so we can learn from each other about the company. Those are the things that come first. And time flexibility, by the way, including home working, a 4-day week. They say I want my job to be flexible about where I work. I want to trust them that I will work well if I stay home. And then they say some more money would be good as well. Now, when it comes to communication, we've done another study where we collected something like, not we collected, a company collected something like all job advertising for the last 8 years. It's about 4 million ads. And there's an American company called Livecast that lists about 4,000 skills that companies are looking for. And we tried to sort out which are the most popular skills that companies are requesting. That's the thing that keeps me awake at night, by the way. When I have a jet lag here, I think, what can I do with those 4,000 skills? How can I sort them out so that an economics publisher will want to publish my book on skills? In case you think economists dream of other things. And what we discovered, in fact, that the skill number one that employers want is communication. About 80% of job ads say we're looking for workers who can communicate well. They can communicate well results within the company and with the customer base, and retain the customer base because they know how to talk to them. So all you students who are now looking at your phones, look up, and no, they still haven't. And that's skill number one you should have, okay? How to understand well and be able to express it well to someone else, especially those who are working well. Although it sounds easy, it's very, very difficult, in fact. Something similar happens in America, by the way. I've seen some American studies recently that are doing the same. It's very difficult. Many companies will do it by having formal meetings. In fact, another study, not our own, they asked workers generally about their life, not about work in particular. You know, what things give you unhappiness in the day? Obviously, number one is death in the family. You know, if a close relation dies, that's the unhappiest event any human being can face. Number two, believe it or not, is divorce. I thought sometimes divorce, it's a happy event actually, but not on average, let's put it that way. And number three is going to work and seeing your boss. Sorry, sick in bed is number three actually, waking up in the morning and staying in bed. Number four of your daily activities is seeing your boss. It's ridiculous, you know, like they want communication. But if you wake up, you're healthy, you're happy, you go to work and you find a note on your desk, the boss wants to see you at 11 o'clock in the morning or something, that ruins your day, gone. It's a wrong way of communicating, doing it formally. What they want is informal communication. So that's another thing to remember if you ever become managers of companies. And also collaborate within. You know, you have workers working under you, communicate with them, and do it informally. You know, go and have tea breaks together, or don't have separate restaurants for managers and workers, or you know, have meeting rooms, obviously, but just let them all go and get something. Bloomberg, actually, I don't want to advertise them, but that's what they have. I've been to the Bloomberg offices in London once. There is one floor is devoted to anyone who wants informal drinks, sandwiches, light lunches and all that, and there's a lot of movement, you know, there's a lot of communication that you hear. Okay, so that's information. That's how that's cured. We have the answer to that one, at least to the extent that we know. Now, what about location? Location with AI is a problem, actually, because of what we call agglomeration externalities. And agglomeration externality is that there are benefits if many people who do the same thing are in close proximity to each other and they talk. Silicon Valley is the best example. You know, why Silicon Valley generated so many ideas? Because there are many, many clever people there. thinking about the same problems and exchanging ideas. The most successful AI countries, the United States and China, they both do, despite the fact that they are massive economies, they both do their AI work in 3 to 4 places. In the United States, it's California with Silicon Valley, it's Boston around MIT, and it's Seattle around Microsoft, and that's it. If you really want to work in AI, that's where you should go. In China, there's Beijing, Hangzhou, and Shanghai, they are together, and Shenzhen. In the old days, it used to be just Shenzhen with Huawei, now it's those 3 centers. And that's where Europe is failing, in fact. It doesn't have any hubs for AI. There isn't enough integration in Europe. There are not too many small countries. That does need mobility. As you know, a lot of people are moving to the United States to work there. Now, Donald Trump is trying to stop them. First, he tried to stop the Indians. Then the AI companies came up and said most of the best technicians we're getting recently are Indian scientists. And I saw only yesterday that he had another idea. I doubt whether many people have seen it, but it's something that looks like the dollar, but it's got the face of Donald Trump on it. And it says the Trump Science Visa. You buy it for $1 million. Once you give him $1 million, you can go and work in AI. But you have to prove that you have that knowledge. And then he said, this would attract the best scientists. And to attract even better scientists, the next Donald Trump visa will be worth $5 million. So good luck. So that's what happened. I mean, you know, like, I don't know how you're interested in Europe. Only Britain actually is getting close to succeeding a little there, but everything is going on in the southeast. In fact, we included that in our study, in what's known as the Golden Triangle. If you look at the map where Oxford, Cambridge, and London are, they form a triangle like that. And there's a lot going there, like Google DeepMind, for example, is located there. Some other startups are located, but it's nothing like Silicon Valley. So if you're highly specialized, you can move, but if you're applying AI, you don't need to. Now, what about skills? I think that's the main friction with AI, and the reason is that with AI, you need to reskill or upskill. You have to learn new things if you're going to work effectively with AI technologies because they're so new. That, by the way, is new. It's not what used to be in industrial revolutions. The first industrial revolution was famous because manufacturing products in Britain, before the steam engine came along, were made by hand in cottage industries, which means in their homes, by craftsmen, as they call them, craftspeople. The Luddites belonged to the crafts class. Now, what did the steam engine do? In fact, before then, it was water power, actually, that had the same effect. It moved production to factories, operated machineries. It was either the water mill, big thing that turned like that. If you ever go to Britain for a holiday, there are some surviving water mills, and they're quite interesting to see actually how they work. Because Britain has a lot of water, but not like the water you have here. But a lot of water by European standards, put it that way, canals and all that. And those machines, including steam engines, were very simple to operate. I mean, it was demeaning for a craftsman of the Luddite movement to go and work in a steam machine. A steam machine, you just press a button and you throw coal into the fire, and that's it. You don't need to have any art at all. And they were employing children, in fact. And I said that the steam engine spread in the first 50 years of the 19th century. In fact, in 1832, I think it was 32, it was the first act against the employment of children, because employers discovered that you can pay children very, very little and employ them to run steam engines and throw the Luddites out of work. And that's why they demonstrated it's not that they wanted to break the machines because the machines were taking over their jobs. It's children that were taking over their jobs. They could still work on the machines, but they were not paid as well as they were paid when they were doing the Laureate. AI is not like that. AI needs you to upskill. Now, what's the main skill that you need to have other than, I'm going to come to communication actually. The main hard skill that AI requires is understanding data. You know, if I give you a big data set and I tell you what it is, you look at it, you study it, you can use Excel, you can use Python, you can do anything you want. But the main thing is to tell me what's the message that is coming out of that data. That's the skill. So when you're learning your economics and mathematics and statistics and engineering, that's what you should learn. We still, I still employ sometimes research assistants, give them big data sets in economics, and they come back and tell me some things that if you just look at the data, you know they are wrong. Most people that do statistical analysis now, econometrics, they don't look at the data and try and understand it. They just feed it into a package and look at the results that come out, might be regression results. That's the wrong way of doing it. Look at your data, try and understand it. That's what employers want. And then be assertive, be sure that what you know is what you know, what's the right is what you know. Be able to make decisions based on what you've seen. That's one class of skills. Another class of skills is what's known as a soft skill, although I think it's more difficult to learn than mathematics, I can assure you. And the soft skill is the one that is used in nursing care, hospitality, person-to-person service provision, like empathy, good communication, ability to deal with people. I'm sure most of you feel much happier learning mathematics than learning how to be empathetic to a sick old person. Because we are not trained to do that. I think schools should introduce psychology and sociology as well to train people to do it. Production skills, and the ones I mentioned, is mainly data analysis and learn how to do financial knowledge coming out of the data analysis, cybersecurity, know what's a fraud and what isn't, cybersecurity, due diligence, and all that. Then learn about logistics, extremely important nowadays with supply chains. How do you maintain and develop a customer base wherever it might be located? How to sell online and deliver the goods on time, where Amazon has succeeded more than anyone else. Understand your customer behavior on the internet, arrange for deliveries, use the gig economy. All these things are involved on the distribution of the product, and it's what employers want. Again, in the millions of ads that we examined, those are the skills you have to learn. Now, our firms succeeding to hire, then the answer is that not very well, because people are not skilled very well. In China, they're much more successful because it's easy for the government to direct schools and universities what to do in China than what it is in Europe and America. Europe and America moves more slowly, and we're not quite there yet. And finally, how do we prepare skills for the future? What about education? You might think on the basis of what I said that you should all go and learn mathematics and engineering and blah, blah, STEM. In fact, I think you should all get the basics of STEM. No one should say, I'm scared of mathematics. Mathematics is your language. If you say, I'm scared of mathematics, it's like saying, I'm scared to talk. But you shouldn't specialize too much now because we don't know where it's going. There is an information friction. So learn all the basics and be prepared to learn as you go along in STEM. Specialization is not good. Do some economics as well as mathematics and engineering. Why is the specialization good? Well, technology is changing too fast. Who knows what you need to learn in 5 years from now? Wait for the 5 years and then learn it. Today's important specializations may not even be needed by tomorrow. And AI is best at STEM tasks. You might spend your life your year, say, learning Python, and then next thing you know is that you put the Python you tell ChatGPT to write you a Python program with those things, and it does it in 2 minutes, where you need a whole year. So don't waste your time like that. Focus on thinking things that they cannot do, that AI cannot do yet. The biggest skill, actually, and that even Demis Hassabis said the same thing, is to learn how to learn. If you do the basics that I told you so far, then you'll find it much easier to learn new skills when you get employed. Remember that the best challenge in employment is the role adjustment, changing your role within the company. When you change your role, then you need to learn new things. So the art of success now is to provide the framework that is going to help you to learn new things when you get a job. And that's called learning to learn. All right. So my suggestion for universities, they don't have it yet, is to introduce a course called Learning to Learn. that will make it more explicit. Of course, learning to learn starts with mathematics, right? Mathematics was my passion when I was a student, but both my parents and my teachers thought I couldn't get a job if I just studied mathematics, so I combined mathematics with economics. You see, so I learned how to learn economics using mathematics. Now, there are skills that are common to many occupations. We studied that, actually, as well. The most important one is good communication techniques. Now, you might think that good communication techniques is a kind of silly thing. How do you learn it? In fact, this is what, like media studies, for example, is about good communication. Learn how to communicate well, I mean, Donald Trump, despite his many, many faults, he's a very good communicator. I mean, most of the time he talks nonsense, but the fact that it's even more difficult to communicate nonsense than to communicate good logic. And he manages it, that's the annoying thing. It's learn how to do critical thinking, conflict resolution, develop and hold a customer base, be so persuasive with people that always support you. It's like a politician being persuasive and always gets the vote. Those are the skills that are applied everywhere. Companies need to provide training. McKinsey claimed that 75 hours a week or more is necessary and sufficient. You have to give them incentives and one of the incentives is providing good jobs. Good jobs are ones that have those communication and time flexibility and so on that I mentioned before. And finally, this is my favorite diagram from our study, that's why I always show it. We asked workers in the last 3 years, has technology changed your everyday work experience in any of the following ways? And those that said yes, it changed it positively, is the blue bar. And those that say yes, but it changed it negatively, is the red bar. That tells you what workers feel about new technologies. And the things that they like most, they're very encouraging in a sense. The thing they like most is opportunities to learn new things, flexibility to choose my work location. That's working from home. Working from home is extremely popular. It was tried during COVID and it succeeded to making it a good incentive. Then opportunities to learn and to interact with colleagues, opportunities to apply my own ideas at work. That's autonomy. Autonomy at work is really enjoyed. The opportunity to have an influence on decisions that are made at the company level. That comes from good informal communication. My career advancement or promotion, accuracy and fairness. And it's a feeling that I'm doing useful work, and it's only then that salary comes along. That's what I meant when I said before. Now, of the bad things, the worst is surveillance over work. Workers hate to be surveyed by the employer. The pace of work, weekend calls from the employer. Don't you ever call your employees to tell them, on a Saturday night, tell them, by the way, I've been working on something, can I ask you now? That's a no-no. Obviously, chances of losing your work, which is uncertainty. Health and safety at work. Many people claim that the machinery is making it worse. And that is more or less in agreement with what's known in America, what we know from America. This is the American Psychological Association, where workers think it's extremely important that there is a healthy environment at work, that there are flexible working hours, that there's a work culture that respects time off work. It's not just having good time and wasting it. Ability to work remotely again, 4-day a week possibly. All consistent British and American workers, what they say. And that's the end. I see you, many of you are getting restless. Why? Oh, I'm exactly on time. But the biggest challenge we're facing with AI is the smooth transition of workers to new types of jobs. And that's what I talked about. There are frictions that stop that smooth transition, and good education, training on the job, lifelong learning, learning how to learn, and so on are essential good tools in that transition. Thank you very much. Your questions now. Yeah. Where is my CEO?
Okay, on behalf of all attendees, I wish to extend our sincere appreciation for your compelling and intellectual engaging keynote address. Thank you for deepening our understanding and inspiring us to look forward to the future with a greater clarified and confidence, reminding us that even though things change, the way we use AI, but the work still exists for us. And it's time for questions and answer, Q&A. Anyone have question? We open the floor for Q&A now.
Oh, good. Yes, you have some here.
Raise your hand,
Yeah.
please. Okay. Okay, the microphone will come to you soon.
Thank you.
Ah.
I have some questions for you. So, given that the human skill of the future is unlearning and relearn, I believe the rate at which this skill will increase dramatically. After the arrival of AI, this means that the rate at which what we learn becomes unusable after graduate will increase steadily. My question is, how will AI impact the education sector in the future? Thank you.
You're saying it's become useless. I don't think any knowledge becomes useless. Don't think that you're going to learn things at school or university and then find a job and apply those things and that's it, you're happy getting paid and all that. What you're learning is cumulative. Isaac Newton actually made that famous remark that the reason I can see far is I stand on the shoulders of giants. Well, the giants are your professors here. And it's not wasted, and then subsequently the giants will be your managers at work, that those giving you training. The only thing I'd say about it is what I emphasize a lot here, which is that there are some subjects with AI. If you're going to work in a job with AI, there are some subjects that are especially useful. Mathematics and statistics are especially useful, and ways to understand data. If you learn those techniques, then you surely be standing higher and higher every time. Now, but I don't think you can be a good social animal, as the philosophers say, if you don't learn also history, geography, language, culture. You need to be a complete human being to progress. And look at, I don't know, maybe it's a bad example. If you want an example of someone who specializes in one thing and is very bad at everything else, it's Elon Musk. Do you want to be Elon Musk? Without the money. Obviously, no. If you watch something about his life, he doesn't care about anything other than work and making money and that. So I don't think that's good. Imagine if the whole world was inhabited by Elon Musks. It's not a good thing, but don't think that those things are going to help you get or apply a particular job. The techniques that you need, if you're going to go into AI-related subjects, it's what I mentioned, math, stats, economics. And now You also learn a lot from history, actually. It's surprising how many people don't understand history. The current Nobel Prize in Economics was given to historians for that reason, which was given 2 days ago, by the way. And that's it. Now remember that this is for jobs that apply AI, and some recent estimates I've seen, they say about 60% of jobs maximum would be there. The other 40% of jobs don't involve things like that. But if you're at a technical university like this one, I doubt whether you would be looking forward to a career in those jobs that don't use technology, like the hospitality industry, for example. The digital knowledge that you require in the hospitality industry is not more than the one you require now to understand your smartphone and looking at the web. Okay, all right. There was one here actually that I promised him to ask the first question, and the microphone didn't reach him as far, it didn't come as far as here. And then there is one behind. Yeah.
Okay, about my question. This is about inflation. A lecturer of my faculty, he said, if you think inflation is about a multiply of money in economic system, you get wrong. You need to check on CPI, Consumer Price Index. So I think he probably refer from Keynesian economic. But Milton Friedman, another Nobel Laureate economic, he say inflation, this is about money grow up than real output. What do you think about this conflict? How different between inflation, monetary inflation, or price inflation? Thank you.
Is that what you got by listening to my lectures? Hey? Of all the things I said, you thought this was the most important topic, right? Well, maybe not next time, because I already chose the subject for next time visit. The visit after that, maybe we can talk about inflation. They're all right is the answer. You could get inflation because there is more money in the economy than you need to do your transactions, and that will give inflation. Or you could get inflation because costs rise, like they did with the price of oil that went up a couple of years ago, and companies have to increase their prices. And then if the government accommodates that pressure by putting more money in the economy, then you get inflation, but the economy carries on. If it doesn't accommodate it, then the economy will go down in a recession because there will be no demand, right? So it works both ways. Supply and demand for money is a good framework for studying inflation. Next question. Okay. No more monetary economics, all right? No bubbles, inflation.
Thank you for the nice presentation. Actually, I'm the 7-year PhD now already. I interest about the word that you talk about. We don't need to specialize for the STEM, but in the basically, doctoral and master degree need to learn a lot and deep in the knowledge in the STEM. So I am the last year of the PhD already and need to go to the worker in the future. I have the question to ask you that. You think my study still is still required for the in the industry or not? And also, I decide to study the doctoral. Is there still update or not?
But what are you studying your doctorate? It depends on the subject you're studying, which you can tell us.
I'm studying in the about the oncology.
Authority?
Cancer.
Of course that will be useful. If If specializing in cancer is not a good thing, what is a good thing?
Sorry, I'm studying about the cancer cells, about the breast cancer and prostate cancer. Yeah, and
No idea what is it.
yeah,
What is it?
and
You know?
why? Sorry for that. Study about the cancer to find the method.
You mean medical? You mean you're doing a PhD in medicine? The science of medicine.
In the faculty of medicine. Yeah, but
Yeah, of course.
I'm not medicine. I'm the medical technologist.
No, you'll be okay. Of course you get a job with those. It's the easiest thing to get a job. It's just that not many people want to do it because it's difficult.
Oh. Because
Why are you worried about not
I
getting
worry
a job?
about this because I think I'm thinking in the last of the 7 years that if I know a lot about something, this is to make me to space.
But you say you are studying cancer, right?
Yeah.
You think we're going to find a solution to cancer within your lifetime? No,
Yeah.
don't worry. I wish we could, and I wish you were made unemployed because we found a solution for cancer. But I don't think you need to worry. We need to worry about getting it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that's a good one. Let's get a question from this side because anyone from here? Oh my God, up there. Can you go up there? Hello? Oh, there, she's going, yeah.
Thank very much for Professor for your very interesting talk. My name is Jessye Norman. I am a 4-year student at the Faculty of Economics, Prince of Songkla University, and I will graduate soon. I would like to ask a question. In a job market, when AI is becoming more important, how should students who are about to graduate adapt, and what skills should economics students develop in the future workplace?
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
It really depends on what job you get and whether you like that job, okay? Now, if you find a job that you really like, then and you get it, then you obviously learn the AI that is applied there. You manage to get good communications from your company where it's going, and you learn that. That's the easy part. The more difficult part is before you get a job, what do you do? And I think the best thing to deal with it before it applies to everyone is to read as much as possible about what's going on in AI now. There's a lot of literature in, say newspapers or discussions on TV and all that, which is not really much useful, but there is also a lot of useful work being written that is non-technical. One good thing about AI actually is even the specialist mathematicians write non-technical books for the general reader as to how is the technology affecting work, what is it that we need to learn. And I think it's good to be familiar with all those so that when you go for interviews, you show that you have a good knowledge and you are interested in what AI is doing at work, and that you are prepared to apply it in different directions. But I'm sure, if you are very lucky and you get a job with OpenAI, you'll be doing one type of job. If you get a job with Microsoft, you'll be doing another, although they will both be related to AI, but they're going to give you intense training to do that. Right? Just be confident and be assertive. Be confident that you know what's going on now in AI. How do I know them, do you think? I read all the time about AI. What people write. Just read. When you go home, don't sit and watch silly programs on TV, which I do watch sometimes actually for fun, but only sometimes. All right. I think I promised a guy up there. Can you move? Where is the microphone? 2, woman, sorry. I'm not sure if it's you that raised it first, but anyway. Yeah, go ahead. Can't hear you.
hello. Sorry for the interruption. My name is Habiba Jahan Bithi. I'm a student of Faculty of Economics. So first of all, I'd like to thank you, Professor, for this engaging presentation. But my concern is there an optimum level of AI adoption where the balance will not disrupt and the production will also increase? So for what level we should adopt the AI? Is there any demarcation line?
Say it again. If there is a line, if there is an optimal what?
Optimum level. From that level, we should adopt AI. After that, we should focus on the human resources or human labors. I mean, is there any optimum level of adoption AI?
No, I don't think. Unfortunately, no. If there was, it would be easy. No, there isn't, because what's happening with AI is that it has many different kind of applications. It's very varied. So it penetrates different branches of work in different ways. And not only that, although the basic development of AI programs is done by companies like Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, DeepMind, and all that, the application of the company is done much more easily by people who work for the company. And so it's applied in different ways. There is no point where you say, okay, we had enough AI, now let's move to the human. It should be developed together. You know, it should be what some people call human-friendly AI. It's not the same as augmentation and replacement, which, as you heard earlier, I don't really like that distinction, but the collaborative development of the science to be paying due diligence to human capabilities and human well-being, and then develop in different directions according to the company, is the way to go, and it is going. I can give you an example, actually. When we were doing our study in Britain, we visited some companies that were using AI and asked them how they developed it. And one of them was a police station, a police authority in central England, near Birmingham. They trained AI. They trained a large language model. I'm not sure if it was ChatGPT, but it was definitely an LLM. By making it training the language that police forces write reports of crimes. And it was so highly developed that now they use that large language model to compile reports for the courts. So they tell it, you know, there's a crime committed in such and such a place. This is what we believe was committed. This is what we believe the person arrested should be charged with this because of A, B, C, D. But because of this, you know, like 3 or 4 lines, and then the large language model will write a proper report that looks professional and explains why, and they just submit it to the court, and they all love it. They say it's so wonderful, you know, once we find in bullet points what we want to say, we get AI to compile the full report, and it goes in, and we've had a lot of success. You know, well, that you don't know, do you? I mean, like, if you join that police force, then that's the AI you need to learn, how to adapt large language models to use in that way. If you join another company, like a medical company, maybe you should be thinking about learning about using AI to learn about the structure of organs of the body and how to help in the operating theater, which we also looked at, and there are AI software that is used there. Yeah, no, be open, be prepared to learn anything. Don't think that I'm going to go up to there with AI and then from there human. That never works. All right, then.
Hello, my name is Tanvir. I'm from Bangladesh, and my question is about where is the nowadays USA and China, they have a big, strong AI hub, but for the developing country who cannot create this kind of big hub, global hubs, so how they can what is their best strategy to avoid falling in the AI economy?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's the big problem of Europe. It's not easy. It's, you see, the problem is that there is a fixed cost to producing one of those big hubs. And if someone else went through the fixed cost and is welcoming people to come and join from outside, then it's just very difficult to compete. It's the big problem that Europe is facing. You know, like when all these new technologies were coming on, they ignored it. They said, okay, well, you know, we're going to use Google and Meta and Microsoft. And now there is nothing European there. It's all America. And we're reduced to fining Americans with billions of dollars every now and then and collecting some of the money. It's very easy. I think it should start with a university, by the way, and making the facilities available. You should be, you know, like London, Britain rather, is about to succeed a little bit because it combines, in the area combining Cambridge University and Imperial College London, which are both exceptionally well universities for engineering and sciences. And that is succeeding a little bit, persuading their graduates to stay there and have startups. That's how Demis Hassabis started, for example. He studied at Cambridge. And he comes from London. He studied at Cambridge and started the what's it called? Deep Blue, the one that developed the chess game, yeah, in London. And that's how he succeeded. But as far as I know, he's the only one. The others just left and went to Silicon Valley. It's difficult, but doable. Ask Demis to come and explain to you, but I think he's going to say, sorry, I'm too busy. Yeah.
Hello, thank you very much, Professor, for wonderful talk. I want to ask.
Where are you? Raise your arm.
I'm here on your left.
Where? Oh, here.
Here on your left.
Oh, that way. Oh my God, yeah. You sound that way.
I want to ask, what skill or AI should we learn as lecturers and students?
Sorry, say that again.
What skill or AI should we learn as lecturers and students?
Well, that's what I answered to the woman up there, actually. We don't know, just anything. Hey, learn what's going on, all right? Learn it, read. You don't learn it by imagining things. You learn it by coming to lectures like this one, obviously, and then go home and get a book and read it. And there are many, many books that explain where AI is going, what are the dangers, what are the good things, and then decide what you're interested in. But more to the point, don't think that it's going to be one branch of AI that is going to dominate, or else, because even companies develop it in different directions. We don't know what's going to be the next big discovery of AI, right?
Just learn anything that comes along.
Yeah. Just learn it, be familiar with it, know what's going on. You know, read. The serious press actually is quite good at it. I mean, I've read very good articles in the New York Times, in The Economist, that talk a lot, very well about AI. I mean, even Tom Friedman, that I mentioned before, he's the best economics journalist of the New York Times. I mean, he explains why he believes what he does. I don't agree with him, but that's you don't expect everyone to agree with everyone else. You know, it's something you discuss as you go along. I had discussion with him personally, actually, when we met at the conference, and he's obviously open to listen to other ideas, but that's what he believes, and it's good to read and be challenged by people like him or other top journalists. But the main thing is to read what the scientists are writing. I don't write much on the press. I don't know for that I prefer to write. I prefer to write things for other academics. I'm like Keynes. Have you heard of Keynes, presumably, right? John Maynard Keynes?
No. No?
Oh my God. Well, in the next lecture, I'll tell you about Keynes. He said that that what I'm writing about, I'm addressing my fellow economists. And if I persuade them, then they will pass the message, and then the rest of the world will know it. And it's exactly what happened, with one exception, that it hasn't reached, the message hasn't reached yet. But there are others who write in the press, like Darona Simoglu, for example, writes in the Financial Times regularly. You can write this, but you'll be better off reading one of his books and many other books on AI. All right.
Thank you very much.
Those of you whispering up there, anyone wants to ask a question?
All right.
Okay,
It seems to be very interactive sessions, but
yes, I can see.
Yeah, we have
And not only
two
with
more
me.
questions. Okay, 2 more questions because we run out of the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Please. Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your very useful talk. My name is Kanokwan Janhanin. I am a 4-year student at the Faculty of Economics, Prince of Songkla University, and I will graduate soon. I would like to ask a question. Today, the SDG and development issues are getting a lot of attention. Do you think AI can help us achieve that sustainability and developmental goals? If yes, in what way can I make a real contribution? Thank you.
Say, can you repeat it? I got
It's
most
about
things.
SDGs, right? How AI would, balance the sustainable development goals.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, AI can be extremely helpful in SDGs. It's not applied yet in that direction, but I'll give you, I'll give you one of my favorite examples actually about that it's not quite applied there. One of the biggest polluters in the world and one of the biggest waster of resources is agriculture. Like 70% of our water resources, for example, are spent on agriculture. And that doesn't have to be the case. The reason for that is that there are huge agricultural fields that are being cultivated. It's very difficult to know where water is needed. So at regular intervals, the farmers just open the taps, flood the fields, and they're okay. Now, you could develop drones to identify what parts of your cultivations are dry. And equally, you could develop drones to identify what fruit is ready to be picked, what disease there might be developing, and therefore it needs spraying. It will make an enormous contribution to getting closer in the Sustainable Development Goals. And yet, if you see where the biggest progress is now in drones, is in the military. It's not in agricultural use. And you can see what the attraction of drones in the military. You can cause damage to the other side without hurting yourself, other than the cost of the drone. It's an example where it's not done. There are many, many other examples you can mention. When I was in China recently, last October to be precise, September actually, this meeting, I met a guy who has a startup developing drones specifically for the use of agriculture. And he showed me what he was doing and explaining, and it was absolutely what needs to be done. But then I asked him, I said to him, what do you think of the military development? And the poor man, he said, it's the biggest problem they're facing. When he's saying that he's developing drone technology, everyone is thinking that he's a Chinese spy or something and developing military technology and drones and what's happening. But he said, absolutely, they don't. They want to be as far as possible to that. They just want to increase the efficiency of agriculture, which in China, by the way, is extremely inefficient. There are small plots and all that. So there are many, many positive things. If you want to get into a startup and use AI technologies for SDGs, there is a lot of fallow fields that need cultivated. Are we? Oh, it's 3:15. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
We can ask more if you like, but I see
Any more questions? One more.
I see
one last question.
I see restlessness in the crowd.
Hello.
One last question.
Hello.
Can you raise your hand, please? Oh, yes.
Hi.
Right there.
Professor, do you think AI should or should not be allowed to do some job that work mostly about the creativity, like art or making a song or writing a movie script, something like that?
No, I don't think it should be stopped actually. But that's a problem because although the art is not nearly as good as the art of top artists, not many people will see the difference. No, I think it should be allowed to do it, but it's a pity that not many people distinguish one from the other. I said to, there was someone who was working on developing AI for art. I said to him something like, you know, it was when I was in, I met him in Italy, in fact, and I said to him, well, you know, you can do what you like, but no one will ever do the Da Vinci's Last Supper. I had seen it on that visit. And he said to me, well, Da Vinci's Last Supper has been done. It's time to move on and do different kinds of art now. You know. No, I think they should coexist. I was fooled myself actually with music, not art. That someone, a friend, wrote a really nice song and asked me what I thought. And I said to him, oh, it's very nice, especially the singer has such a good voice. Where did you manage to find her? And he said to me, it's not a real person. It's AI-generated voice. So it exists.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, it's a problem, though. There is only one Beethoven, one Mozart, actually. I prefer Mozart to Beethoven. Yeah.
One more question. Okay, one more question. Anyone else? Anyone else has question? Okay, one more. One last question, yes? Okay, the microphone will come.
Thank you. One last question. What do you think about AI and World War III?
World War III? Well, according to two famous physicists, Nobel Prize winners, by the time AI is capable to fight World War III, we're going to have a nuclear war, so we won't be able to reason sufficiently well to use AI. We'll be destroyed before AI can destroy us. Yeah, we're going to destroy ourselves. Can you get the microphone?
The question I want to know is, do you think AI will be the cause of the World War III? Do you think, what is your opinion about that?
No, I think if there is going to be a World War III, which I hope there isn't, obviously, the cause will be humans, not AI. The only difference is that AI is a very powerful weapon, especially in espionage, because we don't observe it. We don't know where the spies are hiding, so in AI, and that could influence the outcome. You should read a really nice book, actually. It's a very short book like this, called The Age of AI by Eric Schmidt. Have you heard of Eric Schmidt? He's one of the founders of Google. Henry Kissinger. Have you heard of Henry Kissinger? You haven't? Lucky you. And when he was 99, he's passed away now. The book was written 5 years ago. But at age 99, he wrote it. And by the head of the, I can't remember his name, but he's the head of AI technologies at MIT, 3 authors. Schmidt and Kissinger, remember. It's called The Age of AI, and they touch these topics. They are saying that the development of AI now is going completely in the wrong direction, because it's completely uncoordinated. United States and China are way ahead in developing AI as weapons of war. And unless Xi Jinping and Donald Trump get together and say, let's cut out this nonsense and let's discuss how we can control AI before it takes over and makes us go into a destructive war, let's reach an agreement. But they also say that it's extremely difficult to agree on non-proliferation of AI for military use because you cannot monitor it. See, you can monitor nuclear weapons because they are physical entities. They know exactly how many nuclear weapons the Americans have, the Russians, the Chinese, but we don't know how much military capability they have in AI. But it made me think about these issues actually a lot. And it's very useful reading. Are you going to find it and read it? No? You didn't say no immediately. Don't your students read books? No? And you can also find out who Eric Schmidt and Henry Kissinger are. I thought you said it was the last question before. Now one more. One more, all right. One more.
Thank you for the very last question. Actually, this question is out of the topic a little bit, but because you talked to us that the best skill which we need to have is the communication. I think is the problem for all students in Thai is the English language. And especially for Thai, as born in Thailand, because the primary language is Thai. Because you are the native in England, English, right?
I'm not native in England, by the way.
No. I mean, you have a native skill for the English language. So, what you think that? What is the clue or the key for everyone to start to practice the English to their use in real world, especially in the market?
No, that's not really as big a problem as you might think. I mean, like, humanity always had its own language, which you obviously should use and learn well. And then it had one common language that they were writing the scientific works. You know, Isaac Newton was British, English, through and through, but his most famous book that revolutionized mathematics was written in Latin in the 16th century. A lot of philosophy and science books around the time of Rome, you know, Roman philosophers were written in Greek. You know, why was the Bible written in Greek by Jewish guys? Because that was the common language at the time, the common scientific language. It was like a book on philosophy and history. I hope someone up there is not listening to me saying that the Bible was a book in philosophy. Otherwise, I collapse now. And then Latin replaced Greek, and then English replaced Latin. But if you think of, we have something like 2,500 years of written language and science, and we only have 3 international languages. They don't change very easily. So English will always be, so you should learn how to write it, but now it's a lot easier because you could write a script in English in any bad language you want and put it into ChatGPT and say, please change this into colloquial English, colloquial scientific English, and it will do it for you in 20 seconds. It's incredible how well it will do it. And you know the trick how to DI it? Do you know the word DI?
I don't know.
It means to make it look like you've written it and not AI. You first write it in your poor English, all right? This is a trick how your students can cheat you, by the way, in exams. You write it in your poor English. You give it to ChatGPT and say, change it into good English, and it will do it. Then you take that script and you give it to another large language model, like DeepSeek, and you tell it, rewrite this in your own words.
Its name
And then
is,
you take it and you give it to another LLM, and now there are 2 or 3 LLMs involved, so no one will be able to tell if it's come from one particular one. That's known as TIing your text.
okay, ค่ะ thank you for the recommendation ค่ะ
All right. Don't do it before you finish university, though.
Yeah, I think this is come to the close question now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time sharing your expertise with us, and it's such a knowledgeable and inspiring session. Thank you.
Thanks.
So,
I forget. Thank you. Yes.
ค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ So may I kindly ask you professors to take seat? Yeah, and then we are
Yeah.
moving to the next
Yeah,
session.
if you take this away from me, though. Where is it?
Okay, ค่ะ Okay, ladies and gentlemen, may I respectfully invite Professor Dr. Sanit Aksornkaew, PSU Council Chairman, to give appreciation remarks ค่ะ Welcome ค่ะ
ครับก็ สวัสดีอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะฮะ Before the closing the very excellent lectures from Professor, first of all, I would like to acknowledge our student that make the lecture today very productive and very useful, and we are all very happy for the answer and the question in this afternoon. I think that today we have so many staff from the university, like Dr. Pissarides is the member of the council, the president of the university, vice presidents, the dean of many faculties, and we have many staff from different faculties. And of course, we have various kinds students from different faculties. So today, I believe you agree with me that the lecture from Professor today is very, very useful for us. And I believe this lecture is not end by today. And we hope that in the future, we will have very special welcome Professor to come again. At least you can follow up what is happened in our universities after listen from your lecture today. So this is very useful for us. Dr. Pissarides talked to me that today is very, very useful for the universities that we can plan or we can have a new policy about the role of the AI to develop our university to make more education productive. So on behalf of the chairman of the university, also the staff today, or even the people not come to listen to you, but we hope that we can contribute your lecture today to another people that can have an opportunity to listen from your lecture. It is very useful. So I would like to ask all of our staff from the university, please give a big hand to Professor again. And we wish you back home safely, and we hope that we will welcome you again, maybe, I don't know when, but we hope. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณมากครับ
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sanit ค่ะ And next, may I respectfully invite Assistant Professor Dr. Niwat Kaew Pradap, President of Prince of Songkla University to kindly deliver the appreciation remarks. Please welcome.
Honorable Professor Dr. Sanit Aksonkel, PSU Council Chairman, Honorable Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides, Nobel Laureate lecturer today, Dr. Pichet Durongkawerot, member of PSU Council, Vice President, Professors, Dean, students, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that we all enjoy this afternoon lecture, both informative and inspiring, and hope that we will know how to do after this. On behalf of Prince of Songkla University, it's my honor to convey our highest appreciation to Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides, Nobel Laureate in Economics. His informative talk, Employment and Skills in the Age of AI, was enlightening, a much needed guide towards the correct perspective about AI. May this new knowledge serve as an inspiration towards the fulfillment of our shared goals to improve education, science, and technology. I would like to sincerely thank the audience, our students from Hatyai campus, Pattani campus, and Trang campus, from high school around in Songkla, audience from Bank of Thailand, and members of the public for joining this special talk this afternoon. This event may be ending now, but our work with AI has just begun. It will be a long, challenging journey, but I firmly believe that with the right knowledge, this journey will be pleasant, productive, and life-changing for all of us in the years to come. Hope everyone enjoy this afternoon, and we look forward to working together again in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and may you remain the same, please. May I invite Professor Sir Christopher Pissarides to the stage. Okay, so it's my honor to request President Niwat to present the token of appreciation to Professor Pissarides in recognition of his remarkable contribution to today's event. Thank you very much. And once again, our heartfelt appreciation to Professor Pissarides. And the final stage is that we will now transition to the official group photo sessions. May I invite Professor Sanit and Professor Pichet for the group photo as well. Please welcome. And next, may I invite all the distinguished VIP guests on the front row. Take the group photo together, please. Please welcome. Yep. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, the students will have a chance to take photos with professors, butโอเคค่ะขอขอบคุณ